Hello and welcome back to Fred in the Shed. I hope you're really well today. Got this in from Engine DIY. This is a radio controlled helicopter with a 1080p camera. Bit of a spy copter if you like. I have to say to you straight away, hands up, I know absolutely nothing about radio controlled helicopters. I've never owned a radio controlled helicopter. I've never flown one. But I saw this on the Engine DIY website and I was a bit cheeky and said, would you send it in so I can maybe have a go and make a video on it? And they said, yeah, no problem at all. Right, let's just quickly see what we get in the box. Now, I don't think this is really a child's toy. It's not the most advanced helicopter you can buy. Obviously, you can spend a lot more money, but it's more than a child's toy. Comes with, yeah, okay, a reasonable set of instructions, lots of safety advice, and lots of sort of diagrams telling you how to replace the rotor blades. The only problem I've got with these instructions is that the handset controller looks completely different than the one that's been supplied. And I've got these additional buttons on the top here. I've got a three controller speed and a landing and a takeoff button, and that isn't shown on this controller. So I don't know what these do, and I'm not going to be able to find out until I try and fly the helicopter for the first time. So that's going to be pretty interesting. So yeah, I'm not all that happy with the instructions, to be perfectly honest. Let me just zoom in and have a look at this controller. Now, I haven't really had one of these for many years. The last one I had was a Tamiya remote control car, and this feels very, very light in the hand. I hoped it would be a lithium-ion battery, but it's not. It actually takes 4 AA's, which is fine, but that's a little bit 1990s. I thought it would be rechargeable. It is a nice size in the hand, but I really don't like these control levers here. Now, hopefully you can see that if I try and stay in focus. They have like a crown effect on the top, and they're a little bit prickly, you know, they feel a little bit kind of sharp. When we're going to be, this is a 4-axis controller as well, so you're going to have to be have your thumbs on these all the time. And I don't like the feel of that at all. I don't know why they've done that, maybe for grip, but it just makes it uncomfortable. So I've got a feeling I'm going to probably have to file those down. I think they might be metal. They do unscrew. But yeah, I'm going to probably have to smooth those off a little bit. As far as the remote control goes, it does have kind of a fine adjustment on the axis. It is clicky, it is digital though, it's not an analog control, so again we can't test that until it's up in the air. And like I say, I've got this 3-speed here, which I don't know if that's a sensitivity on the controls, and also I've got a landing and a takeoff. So I'm wondering if I press that, the helicopter will take off and it will just stay in a hover. And I believe this is a throttle up, throttle down. And maybe that's the up and down. That's side to side, it will twist. And then this is the yaw, left and right and up and down. So it's very confusing really. I'm going to have to just do it on the fly. 2.4 gigahertz, of course. I'm not sure on the range of this. I assume it will work. I think the helicopter will go into like a sort of a standby mode. It will just hover if we go out of range. I guess I'm going to find out. That's the only way, is to suck it and see. It does have a clip on it here, quite a strong clip. And this is for your actual mobile phone, because the helicopter connects via Wi-Fi. So we'll be able to look on the screen, hopefully, and we see where we're going. Also, you can record pictures and video on your mobile phone. So that's the instructions for the helicopter. Then we've got the instructions for an app that you download from your phone. It does include little 2D codes here for your different operating systems. Now, it looks like you've got 2 options here. You can have just a standard viewfinder option and use the hand controller to control the helicopter, or you can switch to your mobile phone and use the on-screen controls, where you've got a 4-axis little dot there that you're going to have to... I'm probably not going to try that myself. Yeah, I think that would probably be quite sensitive. But it does have a auto hover option on the actual screen, and I believe there is a return to base option as well, which again, I don't think you've got that if you use the remote control. That's really about it. That's all you really get. Then you've got the helicopter itself. You get a basic charge lead. It's not a USB-C. It's one of those ones, the older style with the flat bottom. But I mean, really, that doesn't really matter, does it? And then you've got the helicopter itself. And I'm going to say I'm quite impressed with it, to be honest. I mean, I say not had one of these before, but it's made out of plastic. But it does feel quite secure. It does feel like it's going to take a drop. Now, the rotor blades, they're not secured. They don't lock in place. And I think that might be if it does catch your hand, as you can see, it will bend. So I think that's a safety feature. I suppose the force of the motor when this is rotating, it will actually keep them in a outright position. Quite like the helicopter. It does look quite nice. Now we do have a camera on the front of it. Let me just get into screen here. There we go. So we do have a camera. It is 1080p. I suppose a lot of these drones and things are 4K now, aren't they? But it is adjustable. You can adjust it all the way up. It's about 90 degrees, I think, on the adjustment, and you can bring it down. The battery is removable. It does have a charge indicator, which when you charge, this obviously flashes. Also, there's a very bright blue LED here that flashes on top of in front of the helicopter when it's rotating. I guess being removable, you get about 15 minutes runtime apparently. So being removable, I suppose you can get spare batteries. It takes about an hour to recharge the batteries. So yeah, and then we've got a little, which I assume that is probably an antenna for the Wi-Fi. It's 2.4 gig to your phone. But yeah, overall, I mean, I think it looks quite decent, to be perfectly honest. Let me just show you the app on the phone. Oh, sorry, before I do that, we do get some basic spare parts. We do get a towel rotor there, a little mini screwdriver and an Allen key. And then we do get two spare main rotor blades if you unfortunately break them, which I probably will. Right, let's have a look at the app on the phone. Just have a little quick look at the quality of the video. I found these Wi-Fi devices on the remote control cars to be a little bit jerky if you go too fast. I think this one's going to be the same. Yeah, if you move it too fast, it does tend to lag. Let's get it round to my face. There I am, the old little grey geezer. But to be fair, yeah, there is a bit of lag. There is definitely a bit of lag, and bearing in mind it's right close to my phone. But to be fair, looking at my face on the phone screen, it won't come out so sharp on the camera, but it does look quite sharp. So I think that 1080p is probably right. But we'll just have to see how that lag goes when the helicopter gets further away from the phone. So I just need to go outside and test it now. So we're just waiting for that high wind to drop, and I'll have to creep out over a field and give it a test. I just want to edit in at this part of the video because I like to be honest with you. I like transparency as much as I can on the channel. Now what you're going to see in a moment is me flying this helicopter, but it's not the original helicopter that you saw me open in the box, because when I flew this on its first maiden flight, I lost it. I totally lost it for good. Basically, my fault really. What I did, I underestimated the power of this thing because it's very fast, and if you open it up it will fly very, very high. I took it up to about 60 feet up in the air to get some nice spatial views, and then the wind was quite gusty that day and it got an updraft and it just took it higher and higher. So it went up to about 100 foot, and I tried to fly it back to my field, but I was losing a battle against the wind. And my fault really. On the remote control, as I mentioned, it has this landing and hover button. It's very, very good. That you'll see this in a moment when I fly it. To start the flight, you just press that and the helicopter will hover about 1.5 meters above the ground, and then you can control the throttle and take it higher and lower. When I pressed that, when it was about 100 foot in the air, and it started coming down, but by that stage it had drifted out of the field and into some people's gardens, and it went out of range of the Wi-Fi of the camera, and I lost it. I lost it. It went. So egg on my face, and we had to contact Engine DIY, and they were ever so understanding, and they sent in a new helicopter. So this is the new one, and you're going to see that flight in a moment. That went absolutely fine, just because I kept it lower, and you just have to watch the winds. You know, do not expect to be able to fly this indoors unless you live in a massive barn conversion or you've got a mansion. Lucky devils, it's too powerful for indoors, and likewise in a garden, like a garden my size, it's way too powerful. It goes too fast and it goes too high, so you need a big open space. On a positive note, do you remember I criticised the radio control device here because of those crowns on top of the... Well, there's an easy solution for that, and these just simply unscrew, and you can reverse them over and screw them back down, and then they are smooth and it's easy to use. So anyway, I wanted to be completely honest. I could have just edited it out. You never would have known, but just a word of caution. I do have it on video, me losing this. I don't know. I'm a bit embarrassed about it. I might put it up eventually on the channel. Let me know in the comments if you want to see it. It's egg on my face. Anyway, let's get back to the flight part. The successful second flight. It does sound a little bit like a dentist drill, doesn't it, when it's flying about? It's not inconspicuous. So this is the footage from the 1080p camera. Now you have to be bearing in mind this is Wi-Fi connected to your phone, so you record directly on your phone, which means that the video isn't as smooth as it could be. It is very slightly choppy. You do get a little bit of CMOS shake as well, which is just the rotor blades on the helicopter. I think if they'd have had an SD card slot in the helicopter and you could record straight onto that, it probably would be a little bit smoother. But I think, you know, overall, bearing in mind the price of the helicopter, I mean, it's much better than you expect. It's better than a child's toy, and the motor on the helicopter is really powerful. You have to be very careful with the controls because it will fly really fast, and it will go very high, which was the problem I had on my first flight when I lost it completely. I'll show you a little clip for that in just a second. I found that the controls, they work fine to about 80 meters, and then everything gets a little bit choppy. So this is the high part that I was recording when I lost that first helicopter, and I was up about 60 foot before it really got way too high. So yeah, I think as long as you keep it fairly controlled and fairly low, I think the quality is pretty good actually. I was quite surprised, certainly by the power of the thing. It's much more than you expect. It's not a child's toy. You can't fly this in your back garden. You certainly can't fly it indoors. You have to be a little bit respectful for how much power and lift it has. And that's it, and that's the end of the video for this C-128 Sentry, a 6-axis 4-way helicopter sent in from Engine DIY. I had an awful lot of fun with this, even though I did lose one. Yeah, that wasn't my finest hour, but I've never flown one before, so that's my excuse anyway. If you're interested in this and you want to check it out further, there is a link down in the description. Make sure that you use my discount code if you do want to purchase one of these, because I get quite a good discount from Engine DIY. Save yourself a few quid. But as always, I'd like to say cheers. Thumbs up from Fred in the Shed from me. If you get a second, just return the thumbs up below before you go. I really would appreciate that. That helps me out, guys. But as always, please look after each other for me. Thanks for your view time. Stay safe, yeah? I'll catch you on the next video. Cheers, guys.
Fred's in the shed where the magic unfolds. Fred in the shed with his trusty CB. He's a friend to the lonely on a frequency.